In this session, we're going to hear from Helberg. Ocean is from our support team in Dublin, but he's actually got a background in support from South Africa. So he's actually worked very, very closely with a whole range of different customers. Now, Ocean is going to take us through a session on working with SQL views. He's going to uncover how the underpinning table structure is the foundation of Sage CRM and why views are so essential to working with CRM. He reminds us about what a view is and the advantages of using them in the right way. We're going to look at how this all powers the core system and supports any changes that you're going to be making to a deployed system. Smartly too, he tells us what certain skills are important before you even think about working with views. You need to understand a bit about why things are the way they are and how to manage the work.
So it's over to Ocean to continue with the session.
Good day everyone. My name is Ocean Helberg. I'm a Level 3 support engineer at Sage. In this session, I'll be introducing you to working with views within Sage CRM. Working with databases and data may be complex. Endless tables, unfamiliar columns, complex queries with multiple joins may often feel intimidating, and this is where views come in. Views are a great feature of the SQL language and when used correctly may become a very powerful tool. The basic definition of a view is that it's a stored select statement that refers to one or more tables within a database. They may also be referred to as virtual tables, as they do not store any information, but rather the data that exists between the tables. Let's take a brief look at the advantages of using views. Firstly, security. Views may be used to enhance security by controlling what data may be seen. Perhaps you would like to share only certain fields within a table to create a report, or perhaps a group. In this instance, views may be used to create a personalized selection of fields by giving users access to the view and not to the actual table. This limits exposure to sensitive information within the tables. Views may, and very often do, join multiple tables and return the data into a single virtual table that makes better sense to the users. So views hide the complexity of table joins. Another advantage of views is they do not take up any database space. Since views are only a stored query or virtual table and they run every time you request them, they will always return the relevant data from the underlying tables and will not consume any space. Before we begin to edit or create views, there are some requirements when working with views. One would require basic SQL scripting skills, experience with SQL views, tables, databases, and database relationships. This is very important and I'll be mentioning it several times during this session. A backup of your Sage CRM system and any system views that you customize is required. Views may be overwritten on system upgrades or system updates. A test system to test your view customizations before implementing them on a live system is also essential. One of CRM's many strengths is its ability to be customized, in which views play an essential role. If we were to navigate to the administration area of CRM and then go to customization, you would notice that both secondary entities as well as primary entities have a tab for views. On this screen, you would notice that views are defined by a lowercase v prefix to the name. You may also notice that there are various types of views. We have core views, user views, and system views. Core views may neither be edited nor deleted. If you look at the action buttons on the right-hand side, you'll notice there's only a cancel and a help. System views may be edited, however, they may not be deleted. I'm just going to hit the change button. Sage does not recommend altering these views. However, should you wish to edit them, extreme caution is strongly advised when doing so. You'll also notice there's a message at the top that says you're about to edit a system view. Making changes to system views is not recommended as it may adversely affect system behavior and may be overwritten by the next system upgrade. This particular view is a group view as indicated by the blue tick. Prior to making any changes to the system view, please ensure that the view has been saved in a text document and is clearly defined. Should you ever need to revert to the original system view, you'll always have this as a backup. Lastly, we have the user view. User views are created for customization purposes, either through the UI or through a component. Creating your own views for customization, such as reporting, groups, and mail merge, instead of editing system views, is encouraged in order to prevent conflicts with the system behavior. You will notice within the user view, we are now able to edit as well as delete this type of view. We will discuss these fields on the screen a little later on when we create a new view.
Let's very briefly explore the concept of views and joins. Views use joins to link tables together. There are different types of joins, however, we won't be covering that in this session. We'll be creating a very basic view in this example, a view that we would like to use fields from the company, the person, and case tables. We would like to use this view as a report view within Sage CRM. You'll notice that I've highlighted certain fields in orange and in red. Their definitions are on the bottom of the page. In SQL, to create a new view, one would use the create view statement. In the example before you, you will see joins to 3 tables, the company table, the person table, and the case table. Now, if you're very familiar with your data and the tables and have a clear idea on what you would like to achieve with the view, you could capture the script into a new query in SQL. However, should you be new to tables, views, and joins, you could use the SQL Enterprise Manager Create View feature. It gives you a helpful graphical way to build SQL for a view. The SQL script can then be copied and the view created within Sage CRM. Remember, best practice would be to test the view on a test system prior to implementing it on a live environment. Let's take a look at how that works. I've opened SQL Server Management Studio, and I'm going to expand the databases in the Object Explorer. I'm going to select the database I'd like to create a new view in and expand it. Then expand the Views menu. If I were to right-click on the Views menu, I have an option to create a new view. I'm going to select this option, and you will notice that 2 windows open, the new query window, as well as a window that allows us to add tables to our view. I'm going to select the company table. I'm going to select the case table, and I'm going to add. I'm also going to select the person table. Now that we have our 3 tables, I'm just going to open them a bit so that we can see the fields within the tables. In our example, I'll join the tables using the primary keys. These fields uniquely identify each record in the table. I'm going to drag the case_case ID and drop it on the company_company ID. You'll notice the tables are now joined. I will move the company_company ID to the person ID. You'll notice if I look at the joins, it says it's an inner join, and I can click on this one and as well as see it's an inner join. Now, as we've been working with the graphical display, you may have noticed that the query has actually been built below. So I could select the various fields from the tables that I would like to see in the view. However, for this example, I'm just going to select the asterisk, which will include all the fields within this table. Now that our select statement has been generated, we can test it before we copy it through to CRM. I'm going to copy the statement, select a new query, paste it, as well as execute. If we are content with what it's returned or retrieved from our joined tables, we can then go ahead and copy this script into CRM and create a view within CRM. It's important to note that all creations and edits of views must be done within Sage CRM. In Sage CRM, we'll once again navigate to Administration, Customization, select the entity we would like to create the view for, in this case it's Cases, select the Views tab, and then select the New button to create a new user view. I'll enter the view name using the view naming convention. You'll see a lowercase v with no spaces in the name. When we navigate away from the view name field, you'll notice that prefix for the view script has been added automatically into the field. If we wanted to use this view for a reports view or a group view, keyword search or SData, you would select the relevant field. It's always a good idea to give your view a description as well as add in the translation, which is what the users would see within Sage CRM. I'm going to remove the script, the select statement that the system has automatically placed in our view script, as this is not what we would like to achieve. We would insert the select statement we have from SQL and then save the view. The purpose of creating this view was to use this view in a report. Let's go take a look at what our view would look like in the user interface. We will select Reports from the menu, then Customer Service, and then select the New Action button. Give our report a name, and then select our recently created view by the translation we gave it. Once we have selected our source view, you will notice the bottom half of the page becomes active, displaying our new fields. You will notice that we have all the fields from the case, company, and person tables, ready to be selected for the report. Here with some advice, tips, and troubleshooting. Before you dash off to experiment with views, views can simplify your code, especially with complex queries. However, depending on what you do and how often, note that views can cause severe performance issues. Note that should your SQL code be invalid, Sage CRM will display an error message. If you make a syntax mistake, you will not be able to save those changes to the database or to CRM. Sage CRM security, such as territories and profiles, work on top of a view. For example, data returned to you in Query Analyzer will be different to the data returned to the user from the customized view within Sage CRM. This is due to security restrictions applied to the results in Sage CRM. Do not use top in your view select statement. And lastly, use join on rather than where primary underscore key equals foreign underscore key type syntax is the preferred method for joining tables. Although uncommon, you may experience the message you may need to recreate views manually when attempting to log into Sage CRM. I recall breaking out into a sweat the first time I received this message many years ago, and I assure you, it is not as frightening as the message implies. There are several reasons why this may occur. Some of the most common causes are the SA user password may have been changed. Should the SA password have been changed in SQL and not in CRM, it would need to be updated in Sage CRM. This may be performed in Administration, System, and then Database. Perhaps the SQL service is not running. Or should the service be running, stop and start the service again and reattempt to log into CRM. The third most common cause is there is a mismatch between Sage CRM versions. This may occur if an earlier version of the database is restored to the current version. Sage CRM may be attempting to connect to the wrong database. This fix would require a small change in the registry. Thank you for joining me, and I hope this session has been insightful and will encourage you to further explore working with views in Sage CRM.
So, key messages to remember there. Don't make any changes unless you have backups. And don't mess around with the system views either. Make a copy instead and use that one.
His piece on joins was very valuable too. I think that often confuses people as well. So a worked example in the case of case logged was a good way to explain joins and how to make them work correctly. Similarly, showing the SQL designer also demystifies query building, how fast it can be able to do the things that you want it to do, and how you can test before putting it into Sage CRM and then following it all the way through, make it available inside the product. Thanks to Ocean, who he works in the support team, but again, he's managed to bring some very useful thoughts into how to make the most of your investment in Sage CRM.